Hi, and welcome to episode 9 of the Red Room. Apologies for not putting out a video for a little while. I not been well, had no voice. It's not very good on YouTube, so that's the reason it's been a bit longer than I wanted. But thank you for the people who have subscribed in my absence. It's been greatly appreciated, and the views. Hope you're enjoying the videos. And as I said in the last episode I did, I was going out to Seville, which I did do, and fantastic city, beautiful place. It was hot. It was 38 degrees. It was, anyway, it was a great place to visit. But as the title of this video implies, there were issues, and all my fault, of course, because I didn't, and it was my film choice. In the end, I think the actual results are okay, or are interesting, even. I don't think I think the film has given it something which it most probably, my photography, I think it's actually most probably done something okay. But anyway, I decided to take out the Nikon FE with me, and because it has the auto mode, and I thought, well, let's just make my life a bit easier and bring it on auto and let the camera do what it does. And also I took a few lenses with me. The lens I used the most actually was the 20mm little Nikon 20mm f3.5, which is a great little lens and works beautifully. I also took this little nice little it's a nice little zoom lens. This one is a 35 to 105 push-pull lens, f3.5/45, and but its little party trick on this particular lens, it's really nice. It's got, if you press that little button there, it's got a macro extender, so you get a really great macro out of it, and which is a really nice little feature to have. So anyway, without further ado, let's go to the Seville footage and my little chat about that, and then we'll come back after we look at the images, and then I'll chat about what the issues were with my film choice. So without further ado, let's get to Seville. Hi, and welcome to Seville. And over my shoulder you can see the Cathedral of Seville, just a magnificent piece of architecture where the Moorish Arab world meets with the European architecture. And you have a sort of Moorish dome, which is fantastic, and then this big spire which you can see behind me. Just a fantastic place to visit. And Seville is just really beautiful with colours and the vibrancy and the small little lanes. This is tiny, a number of cars I've seen going down. Actually, I saw a van earlier, and the van actually scraped this bumper, virtually taking it off, because the roads are so narrow. But yeah, as I said in my last video, visiting Seville, and brought the Nikon FE with me, and we're shooting on Ilford Phoenix 200 colour film. See what that comes out. So I thought Seville deserved to have some colour, and so what I've been doing is shooting sort of different bits of architecture and the lanes, and the FE2 worked. FE, it's not an FE2, it's an FE. The FE2 had a 4,000th of a shutter speed, second shutter speed. The FE it's a great camera, works really well. Nice viewfinder and easy to use in auto mode. Obviously manual focus. So I've also got a 20mm manual focus lens with me as well, which has come in handy on some of the shots. But yeah, so we're going on a wander around Seville today. Hope you like the shots, and yeah, we'll see you back in the studio. So I think you'd agree, Seville is a wonderful place, fantastic light, and it was so contrasty, so sunny, and very, very, very hot. But getting to the point of my film error, if you can call it an error, is error on my part because I didn't do my research and I didn't look into it properly. So, as you see from this print, actually I quite like because, firstly, the Harman Pheonix film, say it's 200 ISO. It's not. It's 100 ISO, 125 ISO. You need to overexpose it because the shadows just disappear, and very, very little in the shadow area. But then that brought something to the images which was interesting because it became so high contrast. It's very grainy, most probably because they're effectively underexposed negatives. And so you get this really interesting, very organic looking image, which really does actually lend itself quite nicely to some of the images. So not particularly sharp, but then again, that could be my error because I didn't expose it properly, and it's most probably all down to the fact I didn't do any tests and I didn't look at it properly. The other thing about the Harman negative film is it doesn't have an orange base, unlike sort of Fuji and Kodak and many other color neg films. Because the reason for the orange base on color neg films historically is because you reprint it in the darkroom, and it was to do with consistency of exposure of exposure. When you had your cyan and magenta, and it brought it all into balance. Basically, having this orange base brought everything into balance. That's why you had it on color neg film. Now, I'm presuming it's to do with the fact that they haven't. I'm presuming it's to do with the fact that people now scan their images. So no longer are you going to the traditional method of color printing. So when you scan it, it's a straightforward inversion of the negative. I suppose it's effectively an inverted slide film. Certainly the dynamic range of it currently, even though I most probably didn't expose it properly, is that it's has quite a low dynamic range. I mean, film is generally sort of 5 or 6 stops, but I think this is quite narrow and quite tight. So it's all about actually making sure when you first get the film, do some tests, see how your camera is exposing it, see what's going on, see how it responds to different lighting situations. Because I actually think it's quite a good film. I think it's an interesting film, and I know they brought out another film now recently. It's like Phoenix 2 or something, color neg film, which I'll get some in and we'll have a look at those results. But the as you saw by the slideshow and this print, there was something really organic and interesting about the images. So even though I see the failure is my error, in terms of I didn't do my due diligence and make sure and test the film and see before I put it in the camera. It's a brand new film. The results are really quite nice. So all I can say is that when you put it in your camera, if I can give you a heads up on that, at least set the camera to 100 ISO, 125 ISO, slightly overexpose and expose for maybe more shadow biased exposures, so you at least get something in the shadows. And then but the color's good, it's scanned well, and in the end I think we had an interesting set of results. So it wasn't a complete waste of time, and as I said, I do like this image. As all street photography is, you get these serendipitous moments where things happen, you capture it, and in this image, and this was the last frame on the roll of film. And the reason it's 4:3 in aspect ratio, not normal 35, is because literally the film was fogged to about there, because of the end of the roll. And so basically I had to crop it, and even the crop works quite nicely with a bit of blue sky coming in, and then it goes into these beautiful colours, and there's shadow. And then this chap turns the corner with his trilby on, and his arm is slightly out, so you get this lovely little silhouette just down here of this chap. So in the end result, I'm quite pleased with. It's okay, but yeah, all very interesting in terms of the Harman Pheonix 200. So if you're considering getting it, I recommend you do. I think it's a really interesting film to shoot with. I process this in my Jobo processor. I have a lift and a Jobo processor, which actually I'll do an episode on, because it's quite a nice little setup. And I think I've shown you in previous episodes the Patterson drums I use. Well, I've got the Patterson drums on the shelf because I'm actually using the Jobo processor to do black and white as well as colour. And I'm thinking of putting an E6 line in as well, and I'm starting processing transparency film. So, because it's got a 6-bath bottle. So yeah, it's all going to be quite interesting. So hopefully there's an episode coming up on the Jobo, back in the darkroom. As winter comes on, I think we'll be more in the darkroom again, and we'll do some more things on darkroom. So if you've got any questions on darkroom and darkroom practice and that sort of stuff, I'm happily answer them. We'll have a dialogue about it, because I think it is some really interesting stuff going on, like this Harman film. It's really was fun to use, and I learned a lot, which is great. I'd be interested to know if the reason for not having the orange base on the film is because everybody is now scanning their films and they're not printing their films. Maybe I'll do a research and come back to you on it and see if I can find out more. But yeah, so yeah, I think it was all fairly successful. Again, apologies for the delay in I'm going to try and ramp up doing more episodes. So please stick with me, because it is enjoyable and it is fun, and I love your feedback. I've been getting some nice questions. It's been great, and it's a very collaborative community, I feel. I've always found YouTube to be a pleasant platform to engage with. It doesn't seem to be too much hostility and nastiness, and people can have their opinions, and that's fine, but I think it can be done in a cordial way. So anyway, it's lovely to do this episode, and thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. If you can like and subscribe, that would be marvelous. And as I said, on this episode I used the FE, so Nikon FE, so I didn't talk much about the camera at all, but it didn't matter in this particular instance, because I think the film was the star of the show here, and I think the film speaks for itself, really. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you on episode 10. It's been a milestone, double figures. And in the meantime, you take care, and we'll get together again soon. Bye-bye.